Hi, I'm Coach Bill with Meditate to Go, and thanks for joining me. I'm going to be going over some basic practices of meditation. And what we teach here at Meditate is a modern style of meditation. The goal all along from when we created this space was to make meditation a little more accessible. Because what I've found as I've been teaching meditation in the private practice for years is people were resistant to it. They thought they had to be Buddhist. They thought they had to sit a certain way or do certain things. But what we're going to do is eliminate those rules and lose those expectations and really try to focus on the practice itself. Because in all the years I've been teaching meditation, it is one of the best tools we can use to find balance and to become centered and to really connect with the authentic part of ourselves. And when we become more authentic is when we become more focused in our life and more present in everything we do. So with that in mind, let's start by letting go of some of the expectations and some of the preconceived notions about meditation. A lot of people, when they tell me they aren't good at meditating or they don't know how to meditate or they've tried and it doesn't work, are thinking that the goal is to turn off your mind. Well, we can't turn off our mind. There's only going to be one time in your life when you turn off your mind and you won't remember it. So the practice of meditation is not about turning off your mind. It's about putting your thoughts in perspective. It's about becoming an observer of your thoughts. So what I like to think about when we're thinking about our thoughts in meditation is we become an observer and we start thinking about our thoughts as if they're bubbles floating around in our head. And at any given time, we have all these bubbles floating around. But when you become an observer, you can start seeing what those bubbles are connected to. And some of those bubbles are connected to the future, some are connected to the past, and of course some are connected to the present. So we get to decide when we learn to observe those thoughts, which one of those bubbles we're going to jump into, which thoughts we're going to put our energy into. So when we practice meditation, we spend a lot of our time staying focused and jumping into those bubbles that connect us to the present. But as we go through life, of course we want to make plans for the future. We have to set goals, we have to set intentions, and so we can choose to jump into a bubble that takes us into the future, but then we decide how long we're going to stay into it. We're going to decide how long we're going to get carried away. And there's nothing wrong with reflecting on the past and reliving some of the lessons that we learned, as long as we keep those things in perspective and we don't let them drag us down. Because if we allow our mind to, it will take us in so many different directions. Look, our mind is the greatest fiction writer ever. It can send us in 1,000 different directions and it will justify every path. But what we learn to do in meditation is to pay attention to those thoughts and recognize where they're trying to lead us. And we connect our thoughts with our heart. And in the practice of meditation, we focus more on our intuition and on our truth. And we start to learn to listen to our heart as well as our mind. And we realize that our heart will always lead us in the right direction. It will usually tell us the truth, where sometimes our mind will take us astray. So that's what the basic practice of meditation is to become an observer of your thoughts. And that's a great practice. So in our practice of mindful meditation, we always start by focusing on our breath. And why do we choose the breath? Because it's constant and consistent. There's movement, there's feeling, it's apparent. Look, if we tried to focus on our heart, we'd have to really search for our heart. Where's our heartbeat? I can't find it. No, we turn to our breath because it's there. We can feel the movement. We can focus on our breath. And so when we start a mindful meditation, we start with our breath, again, because it's apparent. We can think about it. And what we like to do is think about the breath as the bridge between the mind and the body. And whenever we can focus the mind on the breath, it will connect us to the body. Because think about how much of your day you spend somewhere else. So many times in our day, we are physically in one place, but our mind is somewhere else. Just think about how much of your day your mind is drifted away. Well, what we do in meditation is we bring the mind to the body and we connect them. And the mind and the body through the breath will always bring us into the present. So then we focus on being present. In the present of meditation, we can focus on being here and now. And then we move forward in the meditation with an intention or with a focus. And that's what we do in meditation. And here at Meditate, we try to eliminate the need to have to put labels on the meditation as far as a style or a type. Look, there are so many different styles of meditation, so many different types, and we could name them all. When I started learning the practice, I kind of thought I was learning another language, and I decided that makes it too difficult for most people that just want to practice meditation. because it's difficult enough without having to learn new words or have to identify the type of meditation it is. So we focus more on the intention, on the focus, on the feeling. We focus on identifying that way. Now, we are going to do some meditations, and we're going to talk about meditations like mantra meditations and loving kindness metta meditations and guided visualizations, but we don't have to identify it in a Buddhist practice. We identify it in a modern way. So as you go forward and meditate to go, you'll see some of the labels on our meditations that will just say something simple like calm. Well, guess what that meditation's about? It's about being calm. But in the practice of meditation, if we're focusing on like one word over and over again, and so if we think of that word as calm, and we think of that word over and over again, then that's like a mantra meditation. You think, I am calm, over and over again. I am calm. Anytime you repeat something over and over, that becomes a mantra. And mantras are used, it's like planting seeds. If I'm planting that seed of calm inside of me over and over again, that seed's going to start to grow because we're nurturing it through focus. So that's what we do in meditation. We build our focus. And I like to talk about focus like it's a muscle. So here's the goal in meditation. Again, we can't turn our thoughts off, but what we can do is pay attention to them. So as we're sitting in meditation and we start focusing on our breath, especially when you first start out, your mind is going to try to pull you away over and over again. Well, the goal in meditation is to recognize when your mind pulls you away and then come back. That's building your focus. So if we think of focus like a muscle, every time you come back, you're building that muscle. So just think about every time your mind pulls you away and you come back, it's like doing a curl on your bicep. And so the more you do that, the stronger your muscle becomes. So that's like any muscle. When we work out focus, the focus becomes stronger and stronger and gets bigger and bigger. But as soon as you stop, guess what happens? Just like a muscle, it'll shrink back down. So that's why we talk about meditation being a practice. It has to be practice. You can't just do it once or twice and expect to be cured or expect to have the results that you want. Meditation takes practice. So as we start out, what I like to do is challenge people to try it for 30 days. Just give yourself 30 days, a 30-day commitment to practice meditation, and try to do it every day. And so if you can commit to doing it every day for 30 days, by the time you get to the end of that 30 days, you will start to feel some of the benefits. You will start to feel the habit of it, and you'll start to miss it if you don't do it. Now in that 30-day practice, since this is a non-judgmental practice, if you miss a day, don't beat yourself up for it. Just look for what stood in your way and try to fix it so that you can not miss it again. But every day we wake up and we start fresh. So you just take it one day at a time. So if you miss a day, or 2 days, or 3 days, just pick it up where you left off. No harm, no foul. Just try to make it a practice. And so if you commit to 30 days and you do it for 21, that's 21 days that you weren't doing it before. In that 21 days, over a month, it will become a habit like anything else you do. And once you start making it a habit, you'll start to miss it when you don't do it. So give yourself that challenge. So then people ask me when the best time of day to meditate is. You know what the best answer to that is? Whatever works for you. Everybody's different. Personally, I like to meditate in the morning because for 2 reasons. First off, it allows you to set some intention for the day. So say if you set an intention to be patient. This is going to be I'm going to be patient today. So you meditate on that and you can focus on how am I going to be patient through the day? What do I have to do to be patient through the day? You can look at your schedule ahead and say, this person knows how to push my button, so I need to be ready. So what do I have to do to push through that? I'm going into this meeting that's going to challenge me. What do I have to do to be patient through it? So if you start your day off that way, you build that your foundation and you can move through the day connected to that intention. And so that's a great practice and you can check in with it ever so often through the day. So that's great if you start in the morning. The other great thing about doing it in the morning is if you make it part of your morning routine, it's more likely going to happen. Because if you start saying you're going to do it at 5:30, unless you're very organized, a lot of times, think about it, if you go through the day and something happens and you get thrown out of schedule, or somebody calls you and needs you to do something, or you work late or whatever it is, what's the first thing that's going to come off your list at 5:30? Meditation. So it's more likely going to happen in the morning if you put it in that routine. But then some people can't do it in the morning. Their mornings are just too busy, or they're not morning people, whatever that is. So look, we do meditations here at lunchtime and they're very popular. So what happens if you do it at lunchtime? It helps you break up your day. You have half a day at work and you go do a meditation. It lets you refocus and recenter and move forward. Or our busiest classes are in the evening. So a lot of people like to meditate in the evening because they get to leave their busy day behind and move forward in the evening with new focus, having let go of all that busyness. But then a lot of people like to meditate just before they go to sleep. And just think about it this way: if you meditate on patience just before you go to sleep, you're carrying that intention into your dreams. And perhaps you wake up in the morning and you start with patience. So again, there's no right or wrong, it's just whatever works for you. You just have to find out what works for you. So then as you're moving through the practice of meditation, in this day and age, we have so many opportunities to practice meditation. There are studios all over the country. Then of course, you're coming to Meditate to Go, so you have the option to listen to meditations online. So the availability to meditate is there. You just have to make it happen. And it's up to you to make it part of your habit. So what I suggest is just figure out what's right for you. And then as you're starting to learn meditation, you will find the different styles and the different focuses. And again, you have to decide what works for you. Whether you like to focus on a guided visualization or on a chakra or on an energy or on an intention, you pick what's right for you. But then I say what you should do is mix it up. Challenge yourself. Meditation's not going to be the most exciting thing you do in your day. So if you have a bunch of different styles and a variety, it makes it a little bit more interesting. So challenge yourself and try different things and see what works for you. Then of course you have to identify with the person doing the meditation, the person guiding you through it. So make sure you connect with that. And whether you connect with my voice or not, just find what works for you. That's what's important. Because this is your meditation. And that's the key to the practice, is always remember it's your meditation. Don't judge yourself by whatever the people do. So you'll find in the Meditate to Go program, and also if you come into the studio, we don't identify whether a meditation is advanced or whether it's intermediate or whether it's beginner. Because meditation is always going to meet you where you are. Whether you're beginner or advanced, you will get something out of every meditation. You can be a beginner and go to a meditation that most people think are very advanced, and you'll get what you need to out of it. Meditation's about you, and it will meet you where you are, no matter what meditation, what style, or who's teaching it. So then there's the other thing that I tell people is not to judge your meditation off of other people's meditation. So if you're a couple and you do the same meditation, perhaps one of you is having a good day and one of you is having a bad day. So maybe you come out of that and this person says, wow, that was a great meditation. I feel so calm and relaxed. And this person's like, wow, I feel even more jittery than before. Well, guess what? That's where the meditation needed to meet you. That doesn't mean this person had a worse meditation than this person. There's no such thing. Meditation gets you where you need to go. And that's what the key is. So, as you keep moving forward in this practice, just remember, just be centered and balanced, and that's the key. There's no right or wrong way to sit. Now, most practices tell you you should sit with your legs crossed and with your head perfectly straight and your spine erect. And that's good. If that's how you want to practice it, it's up to you. There are some benefits to that. But there are some things you have to remember. If you're not used to sitting like that and you start practicing like that, a lot of times, if you start to get an ache in your back or if your foot falls asleep or your knees start to hurt you, then that's what you're going to be focusing on through the meditation. And that's not why we're meditating. So just be comfortable, especially when you're first starting out. Just focus on being comfortable, and then you decide how you want to move from there. But comfort is the key. But you don't want to be overly comfortable because you don't want to fall asleep. And there's a challenge in meditation. Look, when you're sitting here listening to me, let's just say your awareness is here. And when you go to sleep, your awareness is here. Well, in meditation, we want to always stay in the middle. So if you find yourself starting to drift over and go to sleep, so what do? Well, I say what you do is you become aware of it. When you become aware of it, you just take in a deeper breath. And when you take in a deeper breath, it lifts you up. And that will wake you up. And maybe you have to do that a couple times. But don't let yourself drift to sleep. Now, I am also a hypnotherapist, so there are some cases to think about. If you do drift to sleep, you're still subconsciously aware of what's going on in the meditation. But we don't come to meditate to fall asleep, so don't let yourself fall asleep. Challenge yourself to stay focused, because meditation is about being aware, and we want to be aware, and we want to build that awareness. And there's something I really want to focus on. we tend to lose our awareness. In this day and age, we are so overly connected. We have all these devices where we can find out what's happening around the world just by pushing a button. Well, in meditation, we want to make our world smaller. Yes, we still want to be informed, but just think about how much of our life we get pulled out of balance because we're so focused on things happening so far away that have nothing to do with our life or very little to do with our life. When you start practicing meditation, you make your world a little smaller. Actually, you bring it back into reality. Because when we practice meditation, we start here. We start in our heart. And we focus on the fact that this is our world. We become centered and balanced on our world. And we realize that this is what's important. Our friends and our family are important. Our community is important. But once we get past the community, how much influence do we have over the world? We can vote, we can donate money, we can get involved in causes. But other than that, why worry about stuff we can't change? There's the enemy. That's where anxiety comes in. When we start worrying about things we can't change. So here's the thing. If you've already done everything you can, why worry? If there's nothing you can do to change it, why worry? But that's easier said than done. Well, in the practice of meditation, we focus on the things that we can change, and we let go of the things that we can't change. That doesn't mean we're not informed. We're just focused on what's important and realizing that our world is right here, and this is what is important. We don't need to be pulled out of balance by all these other things. We don't need to be offended by what somebody says that we'll never meet. We focus on what's important, right here, right now. That's the key to meditation. We make our world a little smaller, and then we start paying attention to what's going on around us. And if we really focus on what's going on in the moment, in this space right here, we realize that our life is pretty abundant. That we don't need, our happiness and our joy doesn't depend on anyone or anybody else. It depends on ourselves. If we become centered and we become more authentic, we start to enjoy life. And we reconnect with that joy that resides deep inside of our heart. It's always there. It's just been covered up by the expectations and judgments and noise of the day. So through meditation, we're peeling, it's like opening up an onion, peeling back the layers, getting in touch with that truth that lies deep inside. So, welcome to the challenge. I hope you find that you can move forward in meditation in whatever way you can. And here at Meditate to Go, we are going to offer 30 meditations a month. Every week we will offer 7 new meditations, and we will keep it challenging. So thank you for joining me. I'm Coach Bill, and I look forward to seeing you more.